Hi, I'm reading an excerpt of Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl. The author of this diary is Anne Frank herself, but it is translated by B.M. Moriart Doubleday. Anne's diaries began on her 13th birthday, June 12, 1942, and ends shortly after her 15th birthday. At the start of her diary, Anne describes fairly typical girlhood experiences, writing about her friendships with other girls, her crushes of boys, and her academic performance at school. Because anti-Semitic laws forced Jews into separate schools, Anne and her older sister Margaret attended the Jewish Lyceum in Amsterdam. The Franks had moved to the Netherlands in years leading up to World War II to escape persecution in Germany. After the Germans invaded the Netherlands in 1940, the Franks were forced into hiding. With another family, the Van Dams, and an acquaintance, Mr. Dussel, they moved into a small secret annex above Otto Frank's office, where they had stockpiles of food and supplies. The employees from Otto's firm helped hide the Franks and kept them supplied with food, medicine, and information about the outside world. The residents of the annex pay close attention to every development of the war by listening to the radio. Some bits of news catch Anne's attention and make their way into her diary, providing vivid historical context from her personal thoughts. The adults make optimistic bets about when the war will end, and their mood is severely affected by Allied setbacks of German advances. Amsterdam is devastated by the war during the 2 years. The Franks are in hiding. All of the city's residents are suffering, since the food becomes scarce and robberies become more frequent. This is one chapter from Anne Frank's diary. Tuesday, April 11th, 1944. Dear Kitty, my heart throbs. I honestly don't know where to begin. On Friday, we played Monopoly. Saturday afternoon, too. These days passed quickly and uneventfully. On Sunday afternoon, on my invitation, Peter came to my room at 5:30. At 5:15, we went to the front attic, where we remained until 6 o'clock. There was a beautiful Mozart concert on the radio from 6 until 7:15. I enjoyed it all very much, but especially the Klein Natch music. I can hardly listen in the room because I'm always so inwardly stirred when I hear lovely music. On Sunday evening, Peter and I went to the front attic together, and in order to sit comfortably, we took with the few divan cushions that we were able to lay our hands on. We seated ourselves on a packing case. Both the case and the cushions were very narrow, so we sat absolutely squished together, leaning against our cases. Mooski kept us company too, so we weren't unchaperoned. Suddenly, at 9:15, Mr. Van Den whistled and asked if we had one of Dussel's cushions. We both jumped up and went downstairs, with cushion, cat, and Van Den. A lot of trouble arose out of this cushion because Dussel was annoyed that we had one of his cushions, one that he used as a pillow. He was afraid that there might be fleas in it and made a great commotion about his beloved cushion. Peter and I put 2 hard brushes in his bed as a revenge. We had a good laugh over this little intrude. Our fun didn't last long. At 9:30, Peter knocked softly on the door and asked Daddy if we would just help him upstairs over a difficult English sentence. That's a blind, I said to Margaret. Anyone could see through that one. I was right. They were in the act of breaking into the warehouse. Daddy, Van Dan, Dussel, and Peter were downstairs in a flash. Margaret, Mummy, Mr. Van Dan, and I stayed upstairs and waited. For a frightened woman just have to talk, so talk we did until we heard a bang downstairs. After that all was quiet. The clock struck 10:15. The color had vanished from our faces. We were all still quiet, although we were afraid. The color had. We were the. Where could the men be? What was that bang? Would they be fighting the burglars? 10 o'clock, footsteps on the stairs. Daddy, white and nervous, entered, followed by Mr. Van Dam. Lights out! Creep upstairs! We expect the police in the house. There was no time to be frightened. The lights went out. I quickly grabbed a jacket, and we were upstairs. What has happened? Tell us quickly. There was no one to tell us, the men having disappeared downstairs. Only at 10:10 did they reappear. Two kept watch at Peter's open window. The door to the landing was closed, the swinging cupboard shut. We hung a jersey around the nightlight, and after that they told us. Peter heard two loud bangs on the landing, ran downstairs, and saw there was a large plank out of left half of the door. He dashed upstairs, warned the home guard of the family, and the four of them proceeded downstairs. When they entered the warehouse, the burglars were in the act of enlarging the hole. Without further thought, Van Dam shouted, "Police!" A few hurried steps outside, and the burglars fled. In order to avoid the hole being noticed by the police, a plank was put up against it. But a good hard kick from outside sent it flying to the ground. The men were perplexed at such impudence, and both Van Dam and Peter felt murder welling up within them. Van Dam beat on the ground with a chopper, and all was quiet. Once more they wanted to put the plank in front of the hole. Disturbance. A married couple outside shone a torch through the opening light of this whole warehouse. "Hell," muttered one of them, and now they switched over from their role of police to that of burglars. The four of them sneaked upstairs. Peter quickly opened the doors and windows of the kitchen and private office, flying the telephone onto the floor. And finally the four of them landed behind the swinging cupboard. That is the end of part 1.